Good afternoon on what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Monday the 5th of September and I have a box to continue digging into, as well as a nice cup of tea. And so far I have pulled this out from the box and managed to do an unboxing of that despite being pretty much ill-informed when it came to the world of G.I. Joe. So what I've got next in here is this, and let's be honest, if I was ill-informed to do an unboxing about G.I. Joe, the role-playing game, I'm even less informed, or even more ill-informed, about Power Rangers, the role-playing game, published by Renegade Games. Now, let me see. It's morphing time. Become a Power Ranger and protect Angel Grove and the Earth against the evil forces of Rita Repulsa, Lord Zed, Master Val, and more in the epic world of Power Rangers. Whether you interrupt Rita's monster attacks in an attempt to world domination or defeat the forces of the Machine Empire from invading Earth, there is no limit to the heroic stories you will tell. In the Power Rangers role-playing game, create your ultimate Power Ranger persona by combining personal traits, cultural or childhood influences, and your chosen Ranger colour to make a hero worthy of the power. This book contains everything you need to know. Create your own Power Rangers character and play the game. Just add dice, some friends, and your imagination. Complete rules for players and game masters. Focused on storytelling and epic combat. Character creation tools, weapons, equipment, Zords, and more from the Zordan era. Combat and exploration information, detailed locations in Angel Grove, and tools to get your campaign started. Introductory adventure for the first level characters that is ready to play with a new character. May the power protect you. Okay, so essentially, as far as I'm aware, Power Rangers is essentially a Japanese television show which is dubbed for broadcast abroad. And that's about all I know about it, except there are coloured Power Rangers and they sort of like run around and have adventures and be very sort of stylised in what they do, I suppose. Because, hey, honestly, I have never seen an episode of Power Rangers. I've never seen the movie. And I've never seen, and all I've done is I've seen the sort of like the media sort of like surrounding it when it's coming to the comic shop or something like that. And surprisingly, being less than about a year old, the cat is not ours is taking an interest in Power Rangers, which is great because essentially this is a role-playing game that's just not aimed at me. It is not aimed at middle-aged men sat in nooks. With a hot cup of tea or not. It's really aimed at, younger players who really want to play a game based upon a property that they grew up with, which of course would be Power Rangers. So, nevertheless, let's have a look. So, forward. There, and this is followed by, basically Rangers teleport to the command centre. Introduction by David J. Fielding. I'll have to look at, let's see who he is, and then we get the introduction, where we have the ancient alien history of the Power Rangers, and of course there's a complete world of lore attached to this setting that I am. Well, the term is completely ignorant of. I don't know anything about it. But we've got great use of artwork. I mean, the Power Rangers have been going for a couple of decades or so now. So it's got lots of artwork and so on from associated media to draw upon. And the sort of thing, when I'm looking at this really, is when I come to actually review it, it's going to be an exercise in, can I review something I know nothing about? Can I write about it intelligently and in an informed way, having done a bit of research? And yes, I can do all that because I've done it before. It's still an interesting challenge. So you start off with your character concept, choose an origin, choosing role, choosing influences, and so on. and assign your essence points to essence scores. Now, your essence points to essence scores. Your essence scores are your attributes. Then you've got skills. Describe your character, select your equipment, and there we have it. Fairly simple process. And then we've got character origins, how heroes of Earth, and it's all about the power of the youth and having lots to learn and being Zordal's chosen. I'm guessing. Rangers, you've been chosen because you're a diverse group of heroes who each bring something unique to the team. There we go. And there's nothing wrong with that one, so there is. Okay, so Power Rangers are athletic, brainy, comedic, kind, cynical. So it's really sort of like talking about a kind of role you have almost in high school, as it were, in school. And then we have the roles, the Power Ranger spectrum. I am seriously not trying to shout, spectrum is green. So we have a breakdown of the different Rangers. So we've got the Black Ranger. And that's sort of like essentially his class. I said I do appreciate sort of like the look of the book and the artwork. It's sort of like it's dynamic. We've also got, you know, exciting. The Blue Ranger. Green Ranger. Pink Ranger. Red Ranger. Yellow Ranger. And the Advanced Ranger spectrum, where we get onto when we've got so applying the spectrum shift perk, so you can have the White Ranger. And then we have influences, which are essentially sort of like your backgrounds, so artisan, caretaker, we're really sort of like, you know, small caregiver, community helper, small town roots, that sort of thing. That's really sort of like your background for your player character, martial artist, nomad, so on, not from around here, student, and so on, and the like. And then essence, scores, and skills. Here is we've got the various stats and attributes and skills section. So strength, speed, smarts, and then we've got skills and specializations, alertness, culture, technology, so on. As you would expect, essentially what is a modern day role-playing game. And we've got going to using story points, which are story points, the great equalizer. In the Essence 20 role-playing system, the GM and players are trying not to play. Are trying not to play a game, but also to collect the detail in the narrative story of their characters, the setting they're playing in, and overall arc as the game master wishes to create. During gameplay, there were moments of high tension accompanying massive success and tragic failures. In this game, moments like these can be called upon to create or use what is known as story points. So, they go into a pool. If you basically, because essentially exciting scenes add to story points, fumbles add to story points, and so on, and they can be used to enhance play as you would expect. Then we've got perks and grid powers, so a section of general powers, and then grid powers. Gain through experience levels in Power Rangers Spectrum role. Grid powers are unique abilities and modifiers that are chosen by the player to better suit their style and responsibilities of their character. So, full list there, quite a lengthy list of those. And then equipment. Okay, you've got properties, and then we go on to weapons and. So various weapons and weapons tables, and it's not dissimilar to the G.I. Joe role-playing game. But we've got combined weapons, improvised weapons, weapon upgrades, so you can improve them. Power armor and other gear, vehicles. And vehicle skills, so you've got things like battle bike and galaxy glider and lightning cruiser. More or less, I don't know, po-faced and more straightforward than the vehicles presented in the G.I. Joe role-playing game. Mega tanks, rad bugs, with notes alongside like, the lightning cruiser is a great stealth vehicle. Most humans won't realise a Power Ranger is behind the wheel. And then the Zords. So presumably they're the bad guys. So what we've got, it's sort of like we've got the Zords are evil machines. It's sort of like in the modes of sort of Transformers, but not. I mean, look at that. So you even got there potentially, even with that just one page, you've got a giant sort of like crossover potential there with a sort of Gestalt creature robot, and there we have sort of like a bit more of a picture of the Zords, sort of like evil robotic dinosaurs. The Combiner Zord, bring your Zords together. And we've got the Dino Zord, so Tyrannosaurus Dinozord. So we've got some example Zords in here: Mastodon Dinozord, Triceratops Dinozord, Saber-toothed Tiger Dinozord. It's really kind of mixing up your paleo periods, your eons there, and then we've got the Zeozords. With fewer, and we've got the Turbo Zords. I mean, there's nothing mega vehicles, also they're not very interesting, because they're just stats and stuff. Combats. So it gets into the flow of the game, types of actions you can take, initiative, and so on. And in general, what you're doing with the Essence 20 system is you're rolling 20-sided dice to beat a target, adding your skill and your essence, and the skill is represented by a die type. So the better the skill, the bigger the die type. Just got the combat actions. So what's forgotten here? Yeah, pretty much just general sort of like standard explanation of how combat works. Defeat and healing damage. Other forms of combat, so that covers mounted combat, underwater combat, seacraft combat, vehicle combat. Depending upon the style of game I suppose you're running for your Power Rangers game. To exploration, this is all about movement and terrain and this sort of thing. Put a nice little bookmark there. And then dealing with the environment. Locations, so Angel Grove North, so a primary location for your Power Rangers games. If you're playing them within the setting, not creating your own, various locations around that area. Various locations, again bringing the setting of where Power Rangers is it takes place to life, to some extent, sort of like the source, the role-playing book acting as a sort of source book for the setting. And then we get into threats, beginning with Chunky Chicken. And Chunky Chicken Groan. So yes, and then Putty Patrollers. There are some sort of like quite actually very silly kind of monsters in here. You know, Pineapple the Clown and Pine Octopus. That it's sort of like not quite possible to really take this quite entirely seriously. We have Polluticon, grown and ungrown. Rito Revolto, Slippery Shark. It's difficult not to sort of like, you know, look at this with your tongue firmly in your cheek, with, you know, ridiculous monsters. But again, you know, how many role-playing games have got monsters in them? They're just as absurd. We just take it a bit more seriously. And then Terror Toad. So we don't have the major NPCs or anything like that in here. You know, all the major PCs. It really is sort of like, it's not a full source book, but we've got an adventure here, running an adventure which includes the scenario Fool's End. And so yeah, even with a battle chamber simulator, I'm not entirely sure it warrants a whole page for essentially a blank gridded map. Anyway, this all takes place at sort of like in and around Angel Grove, at high school, and the beach at Playa de la Paz. And I mean, the production values are really, in this book, are actually really nice. The artwork's really good. And the last part of the adventure presumably takes place at this fun house, because you're going to be facing clowns of some kind, and the ultimate in evil, mimes. Yeah. And that's about it for Power Rangers Roleplaying Game. Now, okay, this is not a game for me, because I'm not, I don't really know very much about the background, if barely anything at all. But I am impressed by what they've done to put this together. It's an impressive looking book. It's well organised. The artwork's fantastic. And I think if you're a Power Rangers fan and you are looking for a role-playing game, then you know you're not going to get any better choice than this, arguably. They've done a good job. Of course, the one thing that's missing is sort of like, it's the canon of all the cast and characters that have appeared on the television show over the years, let alone the comic strips and so on. So there's almost waiting for that to come out. So well, the one thing obviously is missing there is sort of like, you have to create your own characters and play them. So there's no chance you could go saying, oh, I want to play this character and play that. So yeah, that's possibly one issue for fans coming to the game wanting to play their characters. They may well be disappointed. Anyway, that's Power Rangers the Role-Playing Game. I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the way, you'll see me out here with a box from which I will unbox a game or book and chat about it to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.